Reverend Catherine McKinney, Dean of the School of Spiritual Leadership, Redondo Beach Center for Spiritual Living. Reverend Darlene Dunning, Senior Minister, the Riverside Community Center for Spiritual Living. Reverend Tony Heggie, Palm Springs Center for Spiritual Living. Reverend Jay Willick, the New Thought Center for Spiritual Living, the New Thought Guy at the Global Truth Center for Spiritual Living. The New Thought Guy. All right. Reverend Jeannie Hoffman, Staff Minister, Granada Hills Center for Spiritual Living. Reverend Nancy Woods, Assistant Minister, Center for Spiritual Living, Granada Hills. Reverend Mike Morrow, he's going as Michael today, Senior Minister, Center for Spiritual Living, Granada Hills. Reverend Dr. Elaine Potenti, Global Truth Center, Staff Minister, and CSL Practitioner. I love that. Always a practitioner first with ministers. Reverend Dr. James Steele, Bishop James, the Greek Orthodox Church. Reverend Susan Hartwright, Staff Minister, High Desert Center for Spiritual Living. Reverend Barbara Oltman, Staff Minister, High Desert Center for Spiritual Living. Reverend Gary Oltman, Staff Minister, High Desert Center for Spiritual Living. Lori Smith, Lead Practitioner, High Desert Center for Spiritual Living. Frank St. Clair, Practitioner Emeritus, High Desert Center for Spiritual Living, Apple Valley. And Judy St. Clair, Practitioner Emeritus and Board President, High Desert Center for Spiritual Living, Apple Valley. Reverend Dr. Maureen Hoyt, Ordained Minister, Rewired Centers for Spiritual Living. And the spiritual leader for the Centers for Spiritual Living from British Columbia, Kelowna Center for Spiritual Living, Dr. Ken Gordon. Get ready to put your hands together again because this is Reverend Sharon Earl. Reverend Doug LeBow's. Who am I? Where's my card? Hold on. Steve Rambo, Senior Minister, Simi Valley Center for Spiritual Living. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be fantastic. Oh my goodness. Look at this talent. Ryan Davis, Karen Mitchell, Faith Rivera, Jamie Lula. We're going to blow it up spiritually. We start off with our dear Faith Rivera.
Where I am, God is where I stand. God standing strong. Where
prayer has already begun. So let's continue in that energy right now. Oh, I just know that there is that one life that is moving forcefully right now through everyone in this building, through everyone on the planet. Life is, and it is the one life that speaks through each person here tonight that will be speaking, that sings through our beautiful musicians. And I know tonight that blessings abound, that they've already been started, it's already going, and the energy is palpable. That energy is life, it's spirit, God, creative force, whatever word you want to give it. What I know is that we are all of it, that we cannot be separate from it. And I know tonight we come here in celebration and in acknowledgement and in honoring Reverend Doug, knowing that he has been walking the spiritual path, and that tonight we recognize that. We recognize his accomplishments, his opening heart, his generosity of spirit. We recognize him for all he brings to this ministry. And I know that High Desert Center for Spiritual Living is blessed by having him here. And I know that in turn he is blessed by being here. That's how it works. The universe just flows and just continues and works through each person, giving and receiving. And so I know tonight there is just such grace and beauty and joy. And I am blessed to be here. And so I welcome everyone. I am grateful that each person is here, knowing there is no accidents. Everybody is here by divine appointment, and it is good. And so, knowing that my word just comes back to me fulfilled, I give great thanks. I know that all is well, and I release, and I know it is done, and together we say, and so it is.
Good evening, everyone. You can say good evening back. Good evening. I can mean it. It is a good evening, isn't it? It's a God evening as well, right? I've gotten into the habit of spelling good. Capital G, capital O, little o, big D. So when you see good, you see God. It is my honor to extend a warm welcome to each and every one of you for being here on this auspicious occasion. It's a double dip occasion. You don't just install your minister here, you ordain him at the same time. I like the way you roll up here at High Desert Center. And I know that Doug is so grateful that you're all here to help celebrate this wonderful opportunity, this beautiful honoring that's taking place with the great music, wonderful spiritual leadership. You have wonderful spiritual leadership to guide you forward as you move into the next era for the High Desert Center for Spiritual Living. Welcome to all the CSL practitioners, the High Desert Center for Spiritual Living members, the staff, Reverend Doug's family. I got them all right here. You've seen Reverend Sharon. I see Jesse down here, and Tyler's back over there. It gives you good to see them. Who is here. We've got Doug's sister Amy Korn and brother-in-law Steve Korn. Wave to people. And cousin Ellen and Jim Weiss. And Jonathan Korn. All right. It's a family affair. Nice. Got some backups. How many people get Jamie Lula to be your backup singer? Scoring big tonight. That's lovely, lovely. Reverend Sharon, would you like to come back? I think you have some letters that you're going to read, huh? Okay.
Every time you take a step up, the treatment 5 steps.
So these these are letters that were sent to Reverend Doug. I'm going to read them. The first one says, "Dear Doug, how auspicious it is you're being ordained on the day we turn back our clocks. You get an extra hour to be your amazing, fabulous self." Did you plan this? Doug, this day was an eventuality. It is the inevitable consequence, as we learn together, of your devotion, effort, time, and love, all directed towards spreading the good news to all who would listen. As Dr. Holmes wrote, "Life will be to us what we are to it." I have seen you be outreaching and inclusive. I have seen you give of your time and considerable musical talent. I have treated with you, I have studied with you, I've created workshop experiences with you. For crying out loud, I've even bowled with you. Most importantly, I've seen the kind of husband and father you've been over these many years. I've seen you love with your whole heart, your whole soul, and your whole mind. Being ordained may have been inevitable, yes, but it is an admirable achievement and a deeply meaningful one. It says that others have seen you as I have. Quite clearly, they feel the same kinship and admiration that I do. Congratulations on this amazing day. I know it will be memorable and touching. If I may be old school, I'd simply like to say, well done, good and faithful servant. You have earned the accolade of the Holy Spirit. You wear the crown of unfading glory. Love always. John McLean, Senior Minister, Unity of Nashville. The next letter says, "Dear Reverend Doug, what a joy it is to be writing on the occasion of your ordination and installation ceremony. I offer my heartfelt congratulations to you, your family, and your community in this time of celebration. We first met when I began my work with Science of Mind magazine almost 5 years ago. Since then, I have been impressed with the depth and breadth of your work in the ministry, whether through sharing your extraordinary musical gifts, working together in support of the Library and Archives Foundation, or cheering from the wings as you stepped into the pulpit of your new center. Yours is a powerful and far-reaching ministry, Doug, and I trust that your congregants and friends at High Desert know that along with me. Thank you for saying yes to service, to religious science, and to spirit. We are all much better for all that you do and all who you are. The journey continues with great love. Reverend Dr. David Goldberg, publisher and editor, Science of Mind magazine." The next one, "Dear Reverend Doug and the wonderful congregation of High Desert Center for Spiritual Living. Congratulations on this auspicious occasion to celebrate the installation and ordination of Reverend Doug LeBow. I am so happy for the High Desert community as you are installing a minister that has continuously demonstrated a passion for this life-changing teaching with his brilliant talent as a musician, his organizational skills, and his compassion and love for people. The step of ordination is no small step. It is the life marker on a minister's path that is made up of thousands of life steps. Many of those steps have been small and some very large. Please know that I'm celebrating with you, Reverend Doug, on this very special day, combining your installation as Senior Minister of High Desert Center for Spiritual Living and your ordination as a minister with Centers for Spiritual Living. Thank you for the gift that you are to so many people. Blessings. Steve Burton, Executive Director, Centers for Spiritual Living." All right, next one. "Dear Reverend Doug, how very like your efficient self to experience the double occasion of installation and ordination simultaneously. I honor the divine path you have followed so diligently for years, beginning with being the instrument through which magical music lifted our hearts to becoming an even greater instrument for the divine to use for great and growing good in each of your communities and in the world. Although I will not be present with you on November 6th, I will be celebrating you from the East Coast and delighting in the knowledge that you are now entering into the most significant phase of your ministry, and that this is only the beginning of the most wonderful manifestation of Doug as minister you have yet to experience. All good always, Reverend Dr. Maxine K., Spiritual Leader, Greater Philadelphia Center for Spiritual Living." Reverend Doug. Blessings and congratulations to you as you accept the acknowledgement of your ministerial ordination and are installed as the Senior Minister of High Desert Center for Spiritual Living. It is delightful to be celebrating your abiding dedication to the teaching and practice of truth. It is so right and perfect that you are being honored at this time through this sacred ritual. Your commitment to the revered path of ministry has brought you to this most extraordinary moment in time. As you step through this door of recognition and accept the mantle of ordained minister of religious science, your life will be forever changed. I am so proud of you and for you. All that you bring to ministry, including your extraordinary gift of music, expands awareness of the presence and increases the impact of science of mind in the world. As you shine the light of spirit, you illuminate the way for so many to awaken more fully to their spiritual magnificence. This chosen path is not necessarily an easy one. We must remain clear and dedicated to science of mind principles no matter what. And what I know with every fiber of my being is that you will always be up to the task. Reverend Doug, even now, greater things await you as you stand in service to all who call you teacher and minister. Thank you for all you do, thank you for all you give, and thank you for all you are. On behalf of a very grateful organization and spiritual movement, I again proclaim my most joyous congratulations to you and your loving community. With love and gratitude always, Reverend Dr. John Waterhouse, Field Leader. Dear and wonderful Reverend Doug, our prayerful thoughts are with you and your blessed community today. How I would love to be present in body, but presence in spirit is more than enough. I bless you, good Reverend, and your awesome community as you unite in word, deed, and spirit to grow as a community and together work to create a compassionate world that works for all. Drawn together by spirit, you are well equal to taking your community to its next level of expression. God, by means of you, is on the move upward and onward. You are a vortex of light in your wider community and beyond. Great and rich blessings in and through your ministry. With great appreciation and love, Dr. Moira Fox, Redondo Beach Center for Spiritual Living. Okay, the last one. Dear Reverend Doug, it is with great joy and a heart full of love that I offer my congratulations to you today as you celebrate your ordination and installation at the High Desert Center for Spiritual Living in the presence of your congregants, distinguished guests, and wonderfully talented musicians. I count it an honor and special privilege to know you as a dear friend and longtime prayer partner. As a Centers for Spiritual Living Conference music co-director with whom I have shared many magical music moments, and especially as a fellow minister and spiritual seeker. From the first time I met you at Asilomar, when you graciously offered to play guitar to help out a short-staffed music team band, I knew you had a giving and loving heart. I have watched you eagerly expand your knowledge of this teaching and deepen your dedication to serving and living from the greater truth that you so enthusiastically encourage others to embrace. You love what you do, you are doing what you love, and you remind us all that with love as our foundation, anything and everything is possible. Centers for Spiritual Living is an organization, and the High Desert Center for Spiritual Living in particular are both blessed to benefit from your sincere commitment to the science of mind as a way of thinking, being, doing, and living. As we celebrate this achievement today, I truly believe and affirm that an exciting, ever-expanding path of possibility awaits you, your ministry, and this center. Even though I cannot be there in person, please know that I am here in Nashville singing a resounding chorus of "You are a light, you are a light, you are a light in this world," as I honor you, your ministry, and all of members of the High Desert Center for Spiritual Living. Congratulations and shine on. Reverend Donna Michael, Centers for Spiritual Living Ordained Focus Minister, Nashville, Tennessee. I just have to say that I know that Doug's mom, Selma, is smiling down on him right now. And she would be so proud. She would be describing him as a real mensch.
Thanks, Sharon. Lovely. And a perfect segue. A real niche. One of the beautiful things about the science of mind and spirit, as Dr. Holmes designed it initially, was that no matter what our faith system was, we could get something out of this teaching. And this young fella got so much out of it that he said, Jewish is nice, but religious science is nicer. But at his heart, there's still the root of his Jewish faith. And in honor of that, in honor of his heritage, please welcome Doug's sister, Amy, and brother-in-law, Steve, and Ellen and Jane and Jim, the cousins. And they're going to come up and read this Jewish prayer, which is to be said and to bless special occasions. The Shehecheyanu. Shehecheyanu. They're going to say it a couple times so you hear it right.
Blessed art thou, eternal God, creator of the universe, for giving us life, sustaining us, and enabling us to reach this blessed occasion.
Turn myself on. Captain inappropriate. Bless you, brother. You've been a minister to me for a long time. And I love all four of these ministers. What a blessing. What a gift. But you were my dream. You're perfect. You're golden. You're light. You're love. You're perfect. You're golden. My life. When I breathe, when I swallow, rest I feel. When I listen to, I hear the most beautiful music I've ever known. Shallow and in doubt.
Dr. Maureen Hoyt.
Oh my goodness. This is like deja vu for me. How many of you were here when Reverend Dr. Scotty Dole was here? Yeah, a few. So she was a really good friend of mine. And I came up here once, and it's very different looking in this area since the first time I came here. And then I came when Reverend Skip Regan was installed, to install him. And then I came and did the wedding for Lee Waddell and Reverend Skip. And then I was here when Reverend Paul Braden was here. Wait, I got that out of order. And then I was here to install Valerie. And I'm here tonight on behalf of Reverend Doug LeBow. And it's such an honor to be here. It really does feel like coming home. Feels like a family reunion almost, for me especially. And the beautiful part for Reverend Doug is that he asked me to speak a little bit about ordination and what that represents. And ordination is construed as holy orders. Holy orders. In that this is a rite of passage that is sacred by its very nature. If we were Catholic, it would be one of the 7 sacraments. But we're not, but it is a sacrament. And it's a sacrament because it is a gift that is bestowed upon someone who has earned the privilege to be ordained. Someone who has done significant and wonderful things with his or her life that has brought them to this idea of ordination. Now, what you should know is we're Centers for Spiritual Living right now, but this ordination is an ordination in a religious science sense as well. Reverend Doug is an ordained minister of religious science. Make no mistake about that. This is a center that teaches the science of mind based in a principle taught by Dr. Ernest Holmes. When you go through the ceremony, it is reminiscent of the vows that you would take when you might have married someone. And it's because ordination, as I said, it's for life. And it can never be taken away from you, unlike marriage, which does have its pitfalls sometimes. But ordination is testimony to one's calling to ministry in a bigger way, in a different way, in a more expanded way, in that it is being married to religious science. It is being married to religious science. This is not about this building necessarily, about this specific congregation. It is a rite of passage that many ministers go through who don't have a pulpit ministry these days. And, we're irrevocably connected to ministry through ordination. There's a couple of things about Reverend Doug that you should know. I had the privilege of teaching a class when he was a ministerial student, when his teacher, Reverend Dr. James Mellon, experienced a bout with cancer. And he and his beautiful bride, Sharon, were 2 students in that class, along with Reverend Jay Willett. Who else is here? Anyone else here from the class? Oh, Barbara and Gary Oldman were also in that class. And these are exceptional people, hands down. Everyone who graduated from that class is exceptional. And what I've discovered recently, and I shared this a little bit this morning in a Sunday talk I gave over in Glendale, and I shared it a little bit with Reverend James as well. But there's something really interesting. Everybody's heard about the shadow side of people. Carl Jung was very delved into that in some detail. And that shadow side, also Debbie Ford with Dark Side of the Light Chasers, that shadow side is our unhealed past. But there's another shadow, and it's called the golden shadow. And that is that untapped genius that we all have inside of us. We all have it. Every person here has some bit of untapped genius inside of us. And Reverend Doug is here at the High Desert Center to explore that untapped genius. What are the gifts that he has brought to this ministry by means of you? Because he is your demonstration. He is absolutely your demonstration that you brought him here and that you have allowed him to be installed today, and he gets to be ordained today. And it could be a coronation if we had a crown for you, but we don't have a crown for you. But it almost feels like that at some level. And I remember how it felt to be ordained. I remember it so clearly that something shifted the minute I heard those words. By the authority vested in me by Religious Science International, you are an ordained minister of religious science. Something shifted in me, something changed in me. And so I know for Doug that he's here to allow that genius part of him that has lain in silent repose, as Emerson would say, or Emma Curtis Hopkins would call it the concealed energy within him. It's that God essence within him that he brings to this ministry. And that's what ordaining does. It allows us to bring forth the gifts that we have that might have been heretofore untapped. You can all do that, but Doug is going to do it in a grander and more glorious way. My new favorite book is a book called Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. And she wrote Eat, Pray, Love and The Signature of All Things. Read anything that she ever writes because she's just brilliant. And this particular new book has a subtitle. It's called Creative Living Beyond Fear. And there's a particular page in here today that I want to share with you because it really applies to Reverend Doug, and it applies to all of us who have as yet an untapped genius inside of us. She goes on to say, she says, so this, I believe, is the central question upon which all creative living hinges. Do you have the courage to bring forth the treasures that are hidden within you? Look, I don't know what's hidden within you. I have no way of knowing such a thing. You yourself may barely know, although I suspect you've caught glimpses. I know Reverend Doug has caught glimpses because his genius is music. It will continue to be music, but he also has a message of such incredible importance to bring to you. I don't know your capacities, your aspirations, your longings, your secret talents, but surely something wonderful is sheltered inside you. I say this with all confidence because I happen to believe we are all walking repositories of buried treasure. I believe this is one of the oldest and most generous tricks the universe plays on human beings, both for its own amusement and for ours. The universe buries strange jewels deep within us all and then stands back to see if we can find them. The hunt to uncover those jewels, that's creative living. The courage to go on that hunt in the first place, that's what separates a mundane existence from a more enchanted one. The often surprising results of that hunt, that's what I call big magic. Well, Reverend Doug is here to create some big magic in the high desert. And you get to let him do that. You don't make him do it. You don't force him to do it. You get to let him evolve as the senior minister of this incredibly beautiful center. I know most of the ministers here have center envy right now. There's one thing that I would like to do that I did at a recent ordination for Reverend Jay. And I would like to call Doug to come forward for a minute. Because it really is like taking a vow. It is really like making a promise. Making a promise, not only to himself, but to everybody here, that he's going to come from the highest and best of who he is. So, if you'll repeat after me, wherever I am,
wherever I am,
that is where the center of the universe is.
that is where the center of the universe is.
Wherever I am,
Wherever I am,
that is where meaning has its beginning.
that is where meaning has its beginning.
To know that I have a purpose in this world.
To know that I have a purpose in this world.
To know in every fiber of my being.
To know in every fiber of my being.
That I am important and unique.
That I am important and unique.
To know that without me.
To know that without me,
The world would not be the
the
same.
world would not be the same.
To actually know that I make that much difference.
To actually know that I make that much difference.
That is walking on water.
That is walking around.
Congratulations, Reverend God.
Back in my TV days, it said, you don't want to follow pets or children, or Reverend Dr. Maureen Place. What powerful words. And it is true, the ordination is that kind of a marriage. And I'm so glad you spoke to that. I'm here to speak a little bit about the installation part. And as I was listening, I was thinking about the whole idea of being installed. You know, when you install something, it becomes operative to the system that it's installed into. You become a team, right? So while Doug has, through this ordination process, Reverend Doug is going to marry his theology, marry his faith, and have this vow to walk this walk and to, as one of my minister friends says, grow in public. That's the ordination side. But the installation part is that he is becoming a part of you, a part of this center. And having had this experience just a little over a year ago, as we shared this journey, can I share that Doug is my prayer partner, so we speak a lot. And we walk this path together. And I know how powerful this time is for you and how much this means to you. And having been installed just over a year ago, I was thinking of all the things that I could do and say at this time. I really need to say them just to you. So, sit down, son. Now, see these folks
It's like
out?
I'm in Mr. Rogers' neighborhood.
Yeah, we're in Reverend Doug's neighborhood. And see these folks out here? That's your family. And you're their family. And they're going to need you to be fully you. That's what I found out this year. And that requires some pretty big stuff on your part. That's taking care of you. See, what I know about you is that your favorite answer to every question is yes. Well, what I want to tell you is, in order to be the best yes to each and every person out here, you must say yes to you first. You must take care of yourself. Right? I don't mean like call me up, I need prayer right now. No. Get into that studio and play those guitars, play with those computers, make videos, and chase onyx around the house. I know, in the yard. Take care of you. And as you do that, each and every person here grows, expands, and is enhanced by the depth that you're doing from growing yourself from the inside out. Dr. Holmes tells us to plant the seed and don't dig it up and look and see if it's growing. So plant the seed in you and know that as you nurture yourself, the seed grows and the plant blossoms and becomes the breath and the scope and the wisdom and the energy that you bring to this lovely facility and these lovely people that are here to celebrate you, that have manifested you by their consciousness, that said, we need a leader with power, with energy, with creativity, with drive, with foresight, with vision. That's what you bring. You have been installed into that, and this operating system that you are now works through this vehicle. Are you ready for that?
Yes.
That's it. Some pretty cool friends, right?
Speaking of marriage, Doug LeBow performed my wedding ceremony, and when Doug marries you, it lasts. We've been married, 37 days now. I love you, Rick. When I forget we are one, and I regret things that I've done, I go within my heart and soul. I start again, knowing I'm whole. God is right here where I am. I am right where I should be. As I fill my mind with peace, I feel it washing over me. God is right here where I am, flowing in and out through me. In this moment, I am free. When things go wrong and my way is dark, and when I lose my song and life breaks my heart, I go within this heart and soul. I just start again, knowing I'm whole. 'Cause God is right here where I am. God is right where I should be. As I fill my mind with peace, I feel it washing over me. God is right here where I am, flowing in and out through me. In this moment, I am free. In this moment, I am
You gotta sing after her. Don't sing after Karen. I realize I can't sing like her. Praise Jesus. You know, this marriage thing, it's like in the Catholic Church, the nuns are married to Jesus. But it's like you're married to all of it, you know? That's the beauty of it. It's like we're married to all of it. We're married to the infinite presence of God. Something's calling you, brother. Something's calling me. Something's calling me. Something's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Feel like I'm walking on marbles. Can't stir the earth beneath my feet. Is my head in the clouds, my naked legs left dangling? I can feel my heart begin to pound. Everybody says something's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Something's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. A long dark night, my soul it wanders. Can't see the light that holds me. If God is everything and everywhere I belong, Spirit gently wakes me from my sleep. Something's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Something's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord, take me deeper than I've ever been before. Oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord, hold me deeper than I've ever been Love is calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Peace, come on, y'all. Peace is calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before.
person. Don't ever apologize. Rajneesh. Oh, it's such an honor to be here for this installation of this ordination. I'm so proud of my friend Reverend Doug and all his great friends, and I'm so happy for you. Your consciousness has obviously attracted this person into your life, and I want some of what you've got. How'd you get there? I mean, that's pretty spectacular. To be able to call and draw and attract someone into your life, such as Reverend Doug LeBow's, is a pretty remarkable thing as far as the installation program goes and as far as being installed as the minister of this center. And I hope that you understand and appreciate that what Dr. Maureen said is so accurate and so true, is that this is his opportunity here to be able to grow and expand and to be able to test out who he is with you as partners in the way that it moves forward. That's a spectacular thing in itself. To be able to have that level of trust is even more spectacular. But on the other hand, too, is that there's a certain gift. As we know, you cannot outgive Spirit itself. So as you give this opportunity to have this happen, you also get something back in return. And that is a human being who actually is going to stand up here on a regular basis, who's going to work within this center, and is going to give his life to you. And how often has that happened, where someone has volunteered to step forward and give their life for you? And I will share with you that that is what ministry is about. How can I best serve my community, knowing and recognizing that they are God incarnate? Doug and I have known each other for quite some time. I've probably known him longer than he's known me. And I'll tell you why. As president of Religious Science International for 5 years, during the process, see, I'm bilingual, I didn't do a process. During the process where he was a student and growing up, I could keep my eye on the students. We all knew who the new students were coming up. We were looking for the sparks and the bright lights that exist out there. And Doug was always one of them. And I remember when we first got together and actually had a meaningful conversation for the first time, was he was playing music with the Agape Choir at Melbourne, Australia, at the World Parliament of Religions. And that I was there as well visiting. And so I was walking back from the conference hall to the hotel one night, and I was walking up this street with a group of people. We were walking along, and there I saw Doug LeBow's sitting alone in this restaurant near the window of the restaurant. And so I sent everybody on, and I went in and sat down and had dinner with him, or dessert with him, I think. I drank. I'm not called a spiritual leader for nothing. I was at an installation Friday, and they kept mixing up the word meditate with medicate. I noticed that one as well. But I got to know him, so that would have been about 2009 in the conversation that we had, and that we got to spend some time there together. And so then I was really sparked to keep an eye on this man. I was really sparked to keep an eye on him. And the spark that came was I began to look and see certain things about his behavior, his activity, and his actions, about his nature and about his attitude, which really appealed to me. Because what I'm looking for in a minister is a calling. I'm looking for someone who doesn't give up, who is drawn and pulled by the attraction of what it is that they have to do in life, and that they take that pathway steadfastly, and when they do, they learn as they move forward in it, as I am learning to this day, and I'm sure Dr. Maureen and I were graduates of the same class, and Reverend Tony, who's out there, and I'm sure that we all learn the same way and the same method as we went through. And there's a certain familiarity in what you need to go through in order to get to where you need to be able to be installed in this church and to be ordained as a minister of religious science. And so I keep an eye and I watch it. And I will tell you, I always remember Emma Curtis Hopkins in one of her books. She wrote a story about what you need to do and who you need to be and what you need to release in order to become a spiritual human being. And so I've always kept an eye on those particular facets, and I'll share with them what they are. And there's a lot of great facets before we do the installation and the ordination that I also recognize and know in him. He is wonderfully loving, wonderfully caring. He is diligent. I personally, unlike Reverend Rambo, think that saying yes to everything in the universe is probably a good idea. Especially when it comes to working within the organization of which I have an important part, and if he doesn't do it, eventually it trickles down that I have to do it. So I like that in a human being. But the three things that Emma Curtis Hopkins talked about that you need to release, that I witnessed in Doug over the 8-9 years that I've watched him step into ministry, grow into ministry, bloom into ministry. The three things are this. Emma says that the first thing we have to give up is willfulness. Now, when I watch Doug, what I see him in his activities and his actions is that he is a team player. He is not overly willful. He's certainly controlling, but he's not willful. I've seen him on the stage. I've seen him on the stage 100 times in the background. And in the background, and I know he knows everything that's going on, but I know that he has within his soul the core ability to be able to surrender, to let go and release, and allow it to unfold in its own perfection. To come to a place in one's life where you recognize you've done all the work beforehand, and then turn it off and let it flow from that particular point. To me, that is an obvious trait of being able to release willfulness. The second thing that I've seen that Emma Curtis Hopkins says is necessary to give up is making it hard. You know what that sounds like? That's like, it's been so hard finding this pulpit. It's been leading that group at whatever conference it is was such a trial. I get that all the time. I travel quite a bit, and people say, don't you get tired? Isn't your life hard? I say, no, it's not. What do you want me to do? Say, yeah, my life's hard, and then that becomes the manifestation? Life is life is life is life. It's what it is. And what you do is throw your heart and soul into it, and you surrender yourself to life and let it be that way, and you stop kibitzing. Is that a right word? You stop worrying about it, and you simply acknowledge the fact that it's not hard. Well, you know, I watched Doug go through the process of switching from his music ministry in a huge way into a pulpit ministry. And I know, like so many great ministers, that it was not easy to do. I know that he went out and candidated and maybe perhaps didn't get the position, or perhaps never got called for the candidating position in the first place. I know that he watched other people enter into ministry, and I know that he had the calling that wanted to do that. It was pulling him forward, and it probably was extremely frustrating, but I never once heard him say it was hard. I never once heard him complain. What he simply spoke was his voice and his word, his faith and his truth, saying, I am a minister, and there is a pulpit waiting for me. And I can hardly wait to get there and to find it. He didn't say, I give up. He didn't say, I'm not going to do this anymore. He didn't run away. He didn't make his life hard. That is a good trait of a spiritual human being. Emma Curtis Hopkins herself says so. The last thing is that, and I know this for Doug LeBow, Reverend Doug LeBow, is that she said that you must give up your need to be recognized. You must be prepared to work on the archive board, quietly in the background. You must be prepared to do the work quietly and silently in the background, to apply yourself and not be concerned about the fact that you're not getting recognized, that the spotlight's not on you. Those are the three characteristics which I see and which I watch develop in Reverend Doug LeBow from 2009 until this day. And I am very proud of him because he has passed all of them in absolutely smashing fashion. So I'm so happy to be here and honored to be here, to be asked as not only the spiritual leader of Centers for Spiritual Living, but as his friend. Because he's the type of person I want to have as a friend. I want to have people around me that know how to live their lives in principle and still be real. And that's Reverend Doug LeBow's. Yeah, right. See, Jamie, you can talk. You've got a good message. You can sing. That's an added gift. That's what Doug's got, too. It's a gift to be able to do both. I'm really a one-horse show here. I don't even know if I'm a one-horse show. Okay. So now I'm going to start off with the service of the installation. So members of the congregation of the High Desert Center for Spiritual Living, this marks an unusual evening because, guess what? We're here to perform two ceremonies. Two, not one, two in one. So it's my joyous pleasure to install Reverend Doug as your pastor. And it's also our joyous privilege and pleasure to ordain Reverend Doug LeBow's. I've been on the road for a while. And I told you I couldn't sing. As a lifelong minister of religious science. And we're here to celebrate his distinguished leadership. Formerly as assistant minister with the NoHo Arts Center for New Thought, and now as the senior minister of the High Desert Center for Spiritual Living. And we're here to honor the invaluable service he lovingly gives to Centers for Spiritual Living and also to the Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, also to the conferences, also his presence just being in the organization and knowing that he's counted. Just being able to show up at ministers' gatherings, being able to show up at town hall meetings. There's always something intelligent, and my heart sings when I see Doug LeBow's walk into a room. Being duly qualified for such responsibility, and by having been licensed as a minister of religious science, Reverend Doug LeBow's has proven his understanding of religious science, and his high spiritual consciousness and consistent use of principle have made him an invaluable asset to this center and to Centers for Spiritual Living globally. His caring and dedication have endeared him to the hearts of the many. Now, we know ministry is a profession in the highest sense. It is also a business, requiring management skills, leadership ability, and financial understanding. Yet, it's still something more. Ministry is a calling. It's an inner prompting to serve God, self, and humankind. And it's a challenge to live by spiritual principles, to be able to follow those principles even in times when you might want to give them up, to never, never, never not use principle in your life. It's a dedication and a consecration to the truth of these principles, and it's a commitment to share these principles with others that their lives may be transformed. Our program of teaching and our ministry of healing is based upon the following declaration of principles written by our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes. And I've asked the staff ministers of the High Desert Center for Spiritual Living, Reverend Susan Hartlight, Reverend Barbara Oldman, and Reverend Gary Oldman, to read our declaration of principles.
What we believe, as written by our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, for the first issue of Science of Mind magazine in 1927.
We believe in God, the living Spirit Almighty, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. This one manifests itself in and through all creation, but is not absorbed by its creation. The manifest universe is the body of God. It is the logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God.
We believe in the individualization of the Spirit in us, and that all people are individualizations of the one Spirit.
We believe in the eternality, the immortality, and the continuity of the individual soul forever and ever expanding.
We believe that heaven is within us and that we experience it to the degree that we become conscious of it.
We believe the ultimate goal of life to be a complete freedom from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all.
We believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. We believe that God is personal to all who feel this indwelling presence.
We believe in the direct revelation of truth through our intuitive and spiritual nature, and that anyone may become a revealer of truth who lives in close contact with the indwelling God.
We believe that the universal Spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God, and that we are surrounded by this creative mind, which receives the direct impress of our thought and acts upon it.
We believe in the healing of the sick and control of conditions through the power of this mind.
We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of life to all.
We believe in our own soul, our own spirit, our own destiny, for we understand that life of all is God.
Reverend Doug, will you come forward, please? Reverend Doug LeBow's, do you accept these principles as the guiding principles of your life and your life's work?
I do.
So congratulations, Reverend Doug. You've accepted the truth expressed in our Declaration of Principles. And it's my pleasure now to present and ask to come forward Judy St. Clair, practitioner and emeritus, president of the Board of Trustees of the High Desert Center for Spiritual Living. Judy, do you as an authorized representative of the Board of Trustees of this center reaffirm that it is the will and desire of this center that Reverend Doug LeBow be installed as its pastor?
I do.
Thank you. Now I'd like to fold into our ordination ceremony. Doug, in religious science we observe the ceremony of ordination in a symbolic manner. As Dr. Maureen stated, we believe that while all are imbued with this divine nature, you have specifically devoted yourself to the task of helping others attain awareness of their divine nature. It's in recognition of your achievement of bringing to your people an awareness of their oneness that this ceremony in which we are now engaged derives its profound meaning. The outward act is symbolic of that which is already established within. The inner recognition of the presence and power of God has called you into this act of ministry, and today we're commemorating that which has already been proven with your own consciousness. You don't get ordained without the consciousness. So you must already have it. One goes into ministry only when the intuitive urging of God has called them, when the mind, the heart, the spirit, and the soul are able to respond. You've responded admirably to that calling. You have embodied the spirit and the presence of God, and you live your life centered on principles, and you serve well those seekers who are drawn to your spiritual light. You do a good job of what you do. Do you accept as your faith the truth expressed in our Declaration of Principles?
I do.
Will you, to the best of your ability, let this guide your life?
I will.
Will you help all those who come to you to understand the truth, that we are immersed in the Spirit of God, that we are in God, and that God is in us, and that we are all at one being?
I will.
Do you believe that the events, situations, and circumstances which we attract into our experience are the result of that which we think, feel, and imagine, and that the person who embodies what he or she wants to attract, regardless of what appears, will eventually experience in the outer real the reality of what he or she has so faithfully seen in the inner realm?
I do.
So therefore I charge you, Doug, I charge you, Reverend Doug, as you progress as minister of this center, to remain steadfast and unwavering. I charge you to know that divine principle is the only power. To know that the presence of God strengthens and sustains you. And to know that one mind will inspire your loving consecrated service. Will you keep this charge to the best of your ability to do so?
I will.
Will the members and friends of the center please stand? I charge you as members of the center to help Reverend Doug, to honor Reverend Doug, and to support Reverend Doug with your treatments, with your prayers, with your dedication, and with your love. Will you keep this charge to the best of your ability to do so? I want you to remember that he's only one and that combined we're many. It's therefore upon the teamwork of the minister, the congregation, and the board of trustees, and the support staff of other ministers that I know are present here, that the success and prosperity of your center shall be alike to all people. I also would like to take a moment at this time to acknowledge his family. And I would like you to know that a minister does not enter into this without bringing his family with him. And that the support and the honor that he gets from his family is all empowering. So when we hear the blessing that comes upon it, we know that that also is a commitment that's been accepted by his family. Reverend Doug LeBow, acting upon the authority vested in me by the Leadership Council of Centers for Spiritual Living, I hereby install you as Senior Minister of the High Desert Center for Spiritual Living. As a conscientious practitioner, teacher, and minister of religious science, your life is a testimony to your dedication to truth, to your love of God, and to your love for your fellow beings. Reverend Doug LeBow, by the authority vested in me as an ordained minister of religious science and as the authorized representative of Centers for Spiritual Living, I do now ordain you minister of religious science. In the name of the Father, in the name of the Son, and the Holy Spirit. I ordain you to teach the principles of religious science. I ordain you to live by the principles of religious science. I ordain you to move forward in your life, knowing that there is only one that you move forward. And in doing so, you comfort, heal, bless, prosper, strengthen, uplift, and love all who you come in contact with. It's a tradition for someone close to the minister to place the shawl of ordination on the shoulders of the recipient, and this person is the one who knows the minister's heart and upholds and supports them in their path. For Reverend Doug, it's not surprising that he would have three people in this role, and so I invite forward Reverend Sharon Earle, Jesse LeBeau, and Tyler LeBeau to please come forward. Reverend Doug, your stole is a symbol of the spirit of truth. It exemplifies your commitment to know the truth, to live the truth, and to teach the truth. I know you'll wear it with dignity. So, Reverend Doug LeBeau, I charge you. I charge you to go forth and teach that thoughts are things. I charge you to go forth and teach that all people can change their lives by changing the way that they think, by expanding their belief. Teach how to build a consciousness of health, harmony, happiness, peace, power, prosperity, love, beauty, and joy. Teach all that God in them is who they are, and that God as them is what they are. Teach a new way to think, a different way to believe, and demonstrate a better way to live. I present to you now your new pastor, your ordained pastor, the Reverend Doug LeBow's.
Wow. It's like getting married, yeah. That's what Maureen said. This morning in my sermon, I taught, there was a moment that really took everybody. We were talking about grace and gratitude. And I put up a slide that said, what if you woke up tomorrow with only the things that you thanked God for yesterday? When I wake up tomorrow, I'll still have all of you and this life, my friends and my family, a wonderful career as a minister, a wonderful career as a musician and producer. Jamie sang a beautiful song this morning, and the line is that I love is, I have so much more to be grateful than to be sorry for. I came into religious science as a bit of a white-knuckle experience almost 30 years ago. When you're Jewish and you go to agape for the very first time, and it seems to you like a Black Baptist revival with, my first teacher, Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith, speaking the word. Sharon had gone. We had our marriage and family therapist was our first practitioner, Lila Abu, and she sent us to agape, and Sharon went first. And I've told this story many times. Sharon went first, and she came home on this Sunday afternoon, and I said to her, "How was it?" She said, "It was great." And she cried for 4 hours. I said, "What was it?" She said, "It was great." She cried for 4 hours. So the next week I went with her, and it was a bit of a white-knuckle experience. And it took me about 3 or 4 weeks of going as this white-knuckle experience before Michael said something that really resonated with me. And I woke up. I said, I agree with that. I believe that. I always believed that. And we started going more regularly and studying. He was my first teacher. And after that, we moved to, when Agape was moving from Santa Monica to Culver City, which was a bit farther for us, we moved over to Dr. David Walker's church in Beverly Hills, the Los Angeles Church of Religious Science. David was not a preacher as much as a teacher. And his style of teaching was really both love and law, but in a very specific way. You are enough. You are always enough, always have been and always will be. And there I met a dear friend, Reverend Dr. James Mellon, and eventually he and I, and Sharon and his husband Kevin, founded the NoHo Art Center for New Thought, where I was at first the music director and then practitioner and then assistant minister, music minister. And we retired from that spot at the end of 2013. And, for the next couple of years, I really was focusing on kind of a sabbatical and working at the Science of Mind Archives and continuing to do music at our conferences with all of these lovely people. And don't I have some great friends? Everybody's hungry, and I am too. So I'm just gonna say, grace and gratitude was my talk today, and not just for my Sunday service. We're at a turning point in our country right now. There are things that are kind of a white-knuckle experience going on. It is our job as religious scientists. It is our job as New Thought thinkers to stay firmly rooted on planet Earth in the truth that God is love. No matter what happens on Tuesday, it is our job to reflect love, to individualize love, to be love,
and for us to be the beacon of this truth here in the high desert, in Los Angeles, in California, and in the United States. We are small, but we are mighty, and our secret power is we know the truth. We are one. God is one. There is only one life. That life is God. Everything been going on the last couple months in the election cycle has been designed to put us into fear, and that's not who we are. We are truth. We are love. We are light. So I charge you all, preach. I charge you all to join me in staying in love. That's the work of the High Desert Center for Spiritual Living. That's my work. I want to thank everybody up here. I'm going to thank them individually. Ray Davis from Agape, thank you so much. He's with us for a minute. Tyler LeBow's. David Enos, our musician here. The Reverend Karen Mitchell. Dick Rivera. Jimmy Lula. All of the music you've heard tonight is their original music. No cover tunes. These are the New Thought writers that you need to listen to. Yeah. This is the soundtrack of our life. You listen to this music every day, your life is better. Okay? Buy these CDs, listen to these people. Right? Momo, Reverend Dr. Maureen. One of the few people on planet Earth who still calls me Dutton and has permission to. Steve Rambo. You might remember him as Kenneth for a long time. I like his new job better. And our spiritual leader, Reverend Dr. Ken Gordon, thank you for coming. My family, my cousins Ellen and Jim Weiss from Orange County, my sister Amy, my brother-in-law Steve, Jonathan, my nephew, both of my sons, and of course Reverend Sharon Earl, my wife, my life partner, my best teacher. And a heck of a practitioner. Didn't you love that opening treatment? Oh my God. So, the ministers and practitioners and board of the High Desert Center for Spiritual Living, thank you guys. All of the members of the High Desert Center for Spiritual Living, thank you guys. Fred, thanks for doing sound tonight, for coming back at the end of the show. It's been a long If you're going to ask for more, get ready to get.
You got the
one morning at 5:30 in the morning, when I didn't have to get up until 8:30, God wrote this song through me. I was like tossing and turning. I was like, really, God? Couldn't have done it at like 8:25 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning. Sharon said to me, get up and go and write it down. All is well, and I am grateful. All is well, and now it's time to let it go. All is well, and I am grateful. Life is good, and so it is. All is well, and I am grateful. All is well, and now it's time to let it go. All is well, and I am grateful. Life is good, and so it is. I invite you to join me in prayer. Let's take a breath. What a beautiful evening. Thank you all so much for being here. Here's what I know. I know that there's one life, and that life is God. And that life is my life and the life of each of us. Here at the High Desert Center for Spiritual Living, the life of each of us in this community. I know that we are all one. We cannot be separate from this divine identity. Not for one nanosecond, not for one iota of our life. I know that God is simply pure energy, spiritual energy, expressing itself as the divine, expressing itself through and in each of us. Pure atomic energy. I know that each of us is made of the building blocks of the universe, the same stuff, the God stuff that everything is made of. Everything that we experience on this plane of consciousness is simply life, love, wisdom, expressing itself and individualizing itself through each of us. And so in this moment, I know we are blessed and we are a blessing. A blessing to our community, a blessing to our nation, a blessing to our peoplehood, a blessing to this world, because we know how this spiritual universe works. God and nothing else. I believe in God and nothing else. And so today I simply bless us all. And in great gratitude, I release this word into law. That law which is always mechanically accurate and yet lovingly and personal in every moment of our life. All is well. And so I just let it be in law, ready to manifest, and it does so now. The blessing is now. Knowing that all is well, I simply let it go. I release it, and together we say, and so it is. Join us as we sing this. Here we go. All is well, and I am grateful. All is well, and now it's time to let it go.
I've been so used to that.
And he's talking about
When you came out like this, I'm like, oh, that guy. No, today is my 8th. Just like, so I'm still learning everything. Really? Yeah. Friendship and stuff like that, and now I'm in the choir and singing at the church and all this other stuff. I was actually taking a class. Well, one hasn't come up. Beyond Limits or Foundations. I was in the process of baptism. Yes, sorry.
Good musicians. Thanks for coming. Thank you. Thank you all.
There's
Thank
the man.
Carl.
You got about 1 minute to say something.
Oh, okay. I don't need to say anything else. Just thank you.
All
I'm
right.
just so grateful.
Awesome, guys.